Good day, everyone. We are the last group to report, and our topic is all about globalization of religion. Learning objectives. The student should be able to explain how globalization affects religious practices and beliefs, analyze the relationship between religion and global conflict, conversely, and global peace. Religion plays a big role in people's lives, and it shows how religion can change or adapt depending on the place and culture. Let's start first with the question: what is religion? So, religion DI is a system of beliefs, symbol, and rituals that people follow to honor something sacred or supernatural. And it helps people understand life, gives them hope, and guides them on how to live. So, the word religion came from the Latin word religare, which means to tie or to bind. This means that religion connects people to their faith, to each other, and God. A scholar also said that religion is a system of beliefs and practices that connects this world to the world beyond. So, in short, religion helps people have a relationship with something greater than themselves, something spiritual or divine. So, religion acts like a bridge between human and the divine. It gives people meaning, purpose, and guidance in their lives. Example of religion includes Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, Buddhism, and Judaism. Each of these teaches people to do good, have faith, and live peacefully with others.
So there are four types of religious organization. So first is the church. So what is a church? A church is a religious organization that claims to possess the truth about salvation exclusively. A classic example is the Roman Catholic Church. The church includes everybody or virtually everybody in a society. Membership is by childbirth. New generations are born into the church and are formally inducted through baptism. So, what is church in a simple meaning? Simple definition. So, what is church? So, church is a place where Christians gather to worship God, the people of God, or the place where they worship. Yes. So, church. This is like the venue. This is the venue where the people worship God. Next is sect. So what is sect? The sect also perceives itself as a unique owner of the truth. However, it constitutes a minority in the given society. Recruitment takes place, consciousness, individual choice. So what is a sect? A sect is a small group of people who follow a particular set of religious beliefs or teaching that are different from the larger religion they came from. So sect, this is a smaller group of people who has a particular set of beliefs. And next is denomination. So what is denomination? It contrasts the church and sect. The denominations is oriented toward corporation, at least as it relates to the other similar denominations. People join through individual and voluntary choice. Although the most important form of recruitment is established, denominations takes place through childbirth. So, what is denomination? It is an opposite of sect. Sect is a small group, while the denomination is a larger branch of group or the large group within a religion, especially when Christianity that shares the same main beliefs but may have different traditions, practices, or way of worship. Yes, so on denomination, kay is large branch na siya. Large branch or a larger group of a religion that especially when Christianity. Ma-share sila og the same beliefs but may have different traditions, practices, or ways of worships. So next is cult. So what is cult? Concept of the cult was introduced in 1932 by sociologist Howard Beecher. Lanza, 1999, provides a comprehensive definition of a cult. So what is really a cult? A cult is a type of religion, not mainly a religion, but there is a one human or one person that they tend to believe that is God. So that one person could control the action and thinking of the people around him. So that is cult. So a non-traditional form of religions, the doctrine of which is taken from a diverse sources, either from non-traditional sources or local narratives, or an amalgamation of both, whose members constitute either a loosely knit group or an exclusive group which emphasizes the belief in the divine element within the individual and whose teaching are derived from either real or legendary figure, the purpose of which to aid the individual in the full realization of his or her spiritual powers and or union with the divine. The label cult is often attached to a religious group the society considers as deviant or non-traditional. Hence, the term cult is often used in negative way. And lastly is the new religious movements or NRMS and indigenous religious groups. So what is NRMS? The term new religious movement came into use among social scientists in 1960s. It was an alternative label of cults that have been negatively portrayed by mass media and some social scientists. New or groups are considered part of those new religious movements. So that's all. Thank you.
Major religions of the world: Hinduism, Buddhism, Christianity, Judaism, and Islam are five of the biggest religions in the world. Over the last few thousand years, these religious groups have shaped the course of history and had a profound influence on the trajectory of the human race. Through countless conflicts, conquests, missions abroad, and simple word of mouth, these religions spread around the globe and forever molded the huge geographic regions in their paths. By Kozoyan 2015. So first is Hinduism. Hinduism, originating on the Indian subcontinent and comprising several and varied systems of philosophy, belief, and ritual. Although the name Hinduism is relatively new, having been coined by the British writers in the first decades of the 19th century, it refers into a rich cumulative tradition of texts and practices, some of which date to the second millennium before Christ exists, or possibly earlier. If the Indus Valley Civilization was the earliest source of these traditions, as some scholars hold, then Hinduism is the oldest living religion of the earth, to the earth, to earth, I mean. So, Hinduism began in India, and it is one of the oldest religion in the world. It has many beliefs, traditions, and rituals that have developed over 1,000 years. So, um, bisan pa man nga ang ngalan nga Hinduism is nagikan sa mga British writers sa 19th century. So, kaning tanan is nagsugod jud siya sa karaang panahon. Even before 2000, before Christ exists. So, um, some believe that it began on Indus Valley Civilization. So, mao na siyang gitawag siya og pinakakaraan nga relihiyon nga buhi pa hangtod karon. Next is Buddhism. Religion and philosophy that developed from the teachings of the Buddha, Sanskrit, awakened one, a teacher who lived in northern India between the mid-6th and mid-4th centuries before Christ exists, spreading from India to Central and Southeast Asia, China, Korea, and Japan. Buddhism has played a central role in the spiritual, cultural, and social life of Asia, and during the 20th century, it spread to the West. So, Buddhism was founded by Siddhartha Gautama, known as Buddha, and nagpuyo siya sa northern India between 6th and 4th centuries before Christ exists. And iyang pagtulunan is nag-focus sa pag-abot sa enlightenment and paghunong sa kasakit or suffering. And ang Buddhism ni spread sa India hangtod sa paingon sa China, Japan, Korea, Southeast Asia, and kuan sa Western countries. Kani siya is dako kay ni siya influence sa Asian culture ug espiritualidad. So, Christianity. Christianity stemming from the life, teachings, and death of Jesus of Nazareth in the 1st century Anno Domini. It has become the largest of the world's religions, geographically the most widely diffused of all faiths. It has a constituency of more than 2 billion believers. Its largest groups are the Roman Catholic Church. So, Christianity DI is nagikan na siya sa gikan na siya sa life, kinabuhi, teaching, pagtudlo ug death kamatayon ni Jesus Christ sa 1st century Anno Domini. Mao ni siya ang pinakadakong religion sa kalibutan nga nagkuan og 2 billion nga magtotoo. Then ang kani is nag-teach ni siya about gugma, love, about gugma, about faith, pagtuo o kalawasan nga pinaagi ni Jesus. Unya, ang pinakadako nga group is ang Roman Catholic, and Christianity is gikuan na siya sa laing part sa kalibutan. Apil na ang Philippines kay mostly sa diri Philippines is mga Christian. So, Judaism, monotheistic religion developed among the ancient Hebrews. Judaism is characterized by a belief in one transcendent God who revealed himself to Abraham, Moses, and the Hebrew prophets, and by a religious life in accordance with scriptures and rabbinic traditions. So Judaism is the complex phenomenon of a total way of life for the Jewish people, comprising theology, law, and innumerable cultural traditions. So, Judaism is one of the oldest monotheistic religions. So, meaning it believes only one God. It started among the ancient Hebrews and follows the teachings to Abraham, Moses, and the prophets. So Judaism, guys, is not just a religion, but a way of life that includes traditions, law, and culture of the Jewish people that guided to the scriptures and rabbinic teachings. So last is Islam. So Islam is promulgated by the Prophet Muhammad in Arabia in the 7th century Common Era. The Arabic term Islam, literally surrender, eliminates the fundamental religious idea of Islam that the believer called a Muslim from the active particle of Islam. So accept surrender to the will of Allah. in Arabic is Allah or God, then Allah is viewed as the sole God creator, sustainer, and restorer of the world. So the will of Allah, to which human beings must submit, is made known through the sacred scriptures, the Quran. So, which Allah revealed to his messenger Muhammad. In Islam, Muhammad is considered the last of a series of prophets, in, includes Jesus, Noah, Abraham, Moses, Solomon. So, Islam is founded, so again, Islam is founded by the Prophet Muhammad in the 7th century Common Era in Arabia. Uh, Arabia, yes. Yeah. So the Islam means the word Islam means surrender, referring to the submission to Allah, to the will to Allah, yeah, Allah or God. So ang Allah nila is mo na siya ang tawag sa ato pa is na siya ang God. So Muslims follows the kuan katong Quran. Quran is mo na siya ang kuan kanang sa ato apa sa Christian is Bible. So diha mo makita ang word ni Allah, mga words nga gikuan ni Allah nga gi-reveal dito ni Muhammad. Then sa Islam is ilang giteach nga ang si Muhammad is the last prophet. Muna siya last prophet na si Muhammad.
Impact of globalization on religion. Globalization implicates religions in several ways. It calls forth religions' response and interpretation. Religions played important roles in bringing about characterizing globalization. Among the consequences of this implication for religion is that globalization encourages religious pluralism. Religions identify themselves in relation to one another and they become less rooted in particular places because of disposals and transnational ties. Globalization further provides fertile ground for variety of non-institutionalized religious manifestations and for the development of religion as a political and cultural resource. So, globalization encourages religions to adapt their beliefs and practices to connect with new cultures and ideas, leading to a rich diversity where multiple faiths coexist and share perspectives, which can foster understanding and dialogue among different countries while also allowing religious movements to spread across national borders, thereby strengthening and ties between individuals who share the same beliefs and helping them maintain their cultural identity even when they are far from their places of origin. There are three perspectives on the role of religion in the globalization process. First, the modernist perspective. It is the perspective of most intellectuals and academics. It is viewed that all secularization would eventually look alike. The different religions would all end up the same secular and rational philosophy. It seems religion revivals and sometimes being a reaction to the Enlightenment and modernization. These views suggest that as societies become more advanced, they will rely less on religion and more on science and logical thinking. Modernists believe that religious belief will adapt to fit modern ideas, leading to more secular world where religious institutions have less power. 2. Postmodernist perspective. It rejects the Enlightenment modernist values of rationalism, empiricism, and science, along with the Enlightenment modernist structures of capitalism, bureaucracy, and even liberalism. The core value of postmodernism is expressive individualism. The postmodernist perspective can include spiritual experiences, but only those without religious constraints. Postmodernism is largely hyper-secularism and joins modernists in predicting and eagerly anticipating the disappearance of traditional religions. Globalization, by breaking up and dissolving every traditional local and national structure, will bring about universal triumph of expressive individualism. This perspective argues that there is no single way to understand religion, and some people kay daghan kay kanang different beliefs kay bisag unsam sa mga cultures nila, and it highlights that each person's culture and life experiences shape how they see their faith, leading to a rich variety of practices and beliefs in the world. 3. The pre-modernist perspective. There is an alternative perspective, one which is postmodern in its occurrence but which is pre-modern in its sensibility. It is the best represented and articulated by the Roman Catholic Church, especially by Pope John Paul II. The Pope's understanding is drawn from his experiences with Poland, but it encompasses events in another countries as well. Each religion has secularized in its own distinctive way, which has resulted in its own distinctive secular outcome. This suggests that even if globalization brings about more secularization, it will not soon bring about one common, global, worldwide. These views emphasize that before modern times, religion was deeply connected to everyday life and community, and a lot of people kay mag-follow gyapon sila sa mga traditions, kanang mga ritual through generations na, and religion play a key role in shaping their identity and way of life. In this view, faith was not just personal belief but a shared experience that brought people together.
Transnational religion and multiple glocalization. So, throughout the 20th century, migration of faiths across the globe has been a major feature. One of these features is the territorialization of religion. That is the appearance and the efflorescence religious traditions in places where this previously had been largely unknown or were at least in a minority position. So, throughout the 20th century, religion has become a global traveler, moving beyond borders through migration and communication. So, when people migrate, they bring their faith, beliefs, and traditions with them. This movement causes what scholars call the territorialization of religion. So, meaning, religion is no longer tied to one specific place, culture, or country. So, for example, Christianity, which began in the Middle East, is now one of the largest religions in Asia and Africa. Buddhism, originally from India, spread throughout Southeast Asia and now has millions of followers in Western countries like the United States and Australia. So this proves that religion can cross boundaries and continue to influence people worldwide no matter where they live. So next slide. So transnational religion is a means of describing solutions to newfound situations that people face as a result of migration, and it comes as two quite distinct blends of religious universalism and local particularism. So it is possible for religious universalism to gain the upper hand, whereby universalism becomes the central reference for immigrant communities. In such instances, religious transnationalism is often depicted as a religion going global. It is possible for local ethnic or national particularism to gain or maintain the most important place for local immigrant communities. So, when religions move across borders, they face a new challenge. So, how to stay true to their universal message while adapting to the local culture. So, this gives rise to two main forms of transnational religion. So, first, religious universalism. So, this form emphasizes the universal or global message of religion. It means that the religion's beliefs, morals, and teaching apply to everyone regardless of race, culture, or nationality. In this case, the goal is to make the religion go global. So, for example, Christianity teaching love, forgiveness, and peace for all people. Then, well, is Islam teaching unity and faith in one God for everyone. So, next is local particularism. So, this focuses on keeping religious practices connected to the local culture or tradition of its people. Immigrants, for example, often preserve their cultural way of practicing their faith even when they live abroad. So we have, so in short, universalism spreads a faith's message to everyone, while particularism keeps a faith rooted in the local customs and identity of its people. Both help religion survive and grow in new environments. So next slide. In such instances, transnational national communities are constructed and religious hierarchies perform dual religious and secular functions that ensure the group's survival. Fundamentalist or revivalist movements attempt to construct pure religion that sheds the cultural tradition in which past religious life was immersed. So, transnational religion is used to describe cases of institutional transnationalism whereby communities living outside the national territory of particular states maintain religious attachments to their home churches or institutional. So, institutional transnationalism happens when religious communities outside their home country continue to maintain strong ties with their original churches, temples, or organizations. In their homeland, these connections may include shared beliefs, funding, leadership, communication, and even regular visits by religious leaders. So this connection gives immigrants a sense of belonging and help preserve their spiritual and cultural identity while living in a foreign land. So example of this is Filipino Catholic churches in the Middle East or Europe that still follow instructions from the Philippines Catholic Bishops Conference. Another example is Korean Protestant churches in the US that remain connected to their mother churches in South Korea. So these examples show how religion served not just as spiritual guidance but also as a connection to one's homeland and culture. It strengthens community bonds even when people are far from home. Next slide is indigenization, hybridization, or glocalization are processes that register the ability of religion to mold into the fabric of different communities in ways that connect intimately with communal and local relations. Local religion represents a general expression, communication, and individual identities. It involves the consideration of an entire range of responses as outcomes instead of a single master narrative of secularization and modernization. So, when religion enters a new country or culture, it doesn't stay exactly the same. Instead, it adopts and transforms. So, this process is called indigenization, hybridization, or localization. So, in indigenization means the religion becomes part of the local culture. It adopts the local language, art, music, and traditions. Religion blends naturally into people's way of life. For example, Christianity in Africa using African drums and dance in church worship, or Filipino churches using native music and language in mass. So second is hybridization, means the religion mixes with local customs and beliefs to form something new and unique. Example of this is in Latin America. Catholicism mixed with indigenous beliefs to create local religious festivals and devotions. So lastly is glocalization. Glocalization is a combination of global and local. It means a religion stays globally connected while expressing itself in local ways. For example, churches using social media to connect with people worldwide but still focusing on the needs and culture of their local community. So These processes show that religion is not rigid, it is flexible and creative, capable of adapting to new cultures while keeping its core message alive. So, global religion teaches us that faith can connect the global and local worlds together. One belief, many expressions.
Forms of glocalization. Glocalization comes from the word global and local. It means that something global, like a religion or culture, changes or adjusts to fit local traditions and ways of life. In short, it's when global ideas mix with local cultures. There are four forms of localizations of religion. So the first one is indigenizations. Indigenization means that when a religion enters a new place, it blends with local culture and traditions of the people. It doesn't erase old beliefs but mixes with them so that religion feels natural and closer to their daily lives. It's connected to the faith of ethnic groups because religion and culture become one. It also helps them preserve their identity even when new religions come. For example, in the Philippines, when Christianity arrived, many indigenous people accepted it, but still practiced their own traditions. During church festivals, they still dance, sing, and wear traditional clothes. That's indigenization, where religion and culture live together. So the second one is vernacularization. Vernacularization means using local language in religion so people can understand better. So before, Catholic masses were only in Latin and not everyone could understand the words. But now, mass is said in Filipino, Bisaya, or English. So bitaw mas nice bitaw if kanang gamiton jud ang atong anang language like kanang Bisaya or the Filipino kay mas masabtan jud, di ba? And ang example ani niya is, di ba, kanang mana ang pare nga ang Ginoo maanaa kanimo. Di ba nindot kay siya paminawon if kanang Bisaya jud nga masabtan jud nimo balik ma-feel jud nimo ba. So that's vernacularization. So it's expressed through the local language. So the third one is nationalization. Nationalization happens when a religion becomes part of a country's national identity or culture. It means that religion help unite the people of a country through shared faith and values. For example, in the Philippines, kita nga Catholic became a big part of who we are as Filipino. We're celebrating events like Simbang Gabi, Fiesta, and Holy Week together, showing our religion has become part of our national life. So the last is transnationalization. So transnationalization means that religion spread across different countries and connects people all over the world. It shows that even if we live far from each other, faith can bring us together. For example, Catholic churches can be found not only in the Philippines but also in America, Europe, and other countries. So Filipinos who live abroad still go to mass and celebrate Filipino style like Simbang Gabi. So that's transitionalization. Religion crossing borders but keeping its roots. Glocalization shows how religion can change and grow with the people and culture around it. It helps with become more meaningful and easier to live by in different parts of the world. Thank you for listening.